I've just come up the hill on the Magnetic Island site. That's Picnic Bay down there. And as you go down you can see roads bitumen, good access except for the lock gate. We just pan around. The site's up in there. I'll try and get the sun behind us. You can see there the steep slope drops off. There's some boulders which have naturally toppled up probably over the last million or so years. This is a granite base which is, I'd have to look at the maps, but I think it's Mesozoic in age, and maybe even older up here, I'm not sure. But this is also Magnetic Island, which was this first white man to see it was Captain Cook, and he named it Magnetic Island because he noticed there was an irregularity that drove his compass crazy. But that just probably indicates that it's an iron-rich granite, or at depth there may be some iron deposit which will never be found. So there's the road in front of us, and the site's about probably 2.5 to 3 metres above road level. We'll go up there and have a look at that in a minute. That's just a crude access way at the moment, which will later, I'll see on the plan, to be converted to steps. And you can see a guy in there. That guy's coming from a power tower, stabilising, not the nearby Telstra tower, but a power tower, and goes across what's the eastern end of the lease, I think. I have to get the map out. Sun's almost overhead. As we go back a bit, there's some new pipe work. The pipe obviously from the nearby water tank that you'll see in a minute. This is a water storage facility for Picnic Bay. As you'll see, I'll just pan around to it here. There's some infrastructure. There's the tank. There's the sheer rock face, which was obviously excavated to when they did the tank. There's a bit of sand washed over it up in there. We're out of the sun now. There's the Telstra tower. With to the left is the power coming in, which has the guy we spoke about. But there's the rock face there, which is about 5 metres high up this end, because the Telstra tower is another 2 metres above, as you'll see a little later on. As we pan back around here, there's a couple of little toppled, sheared off rock bits, but in here this is just all natural. Some of it's weathers and some of it's not, but generally when you expose a granite face, it starts to weather, but about a metre into it maximum, you go straight into bedrock and vertically. So this stuff here is not washing away that much, but vertically there'll be good sound rock up on the lease, I expect, when we get up there. But that's just it from the Picnic Bay site. That's about all I think you need to see on this bit of the video until I get up onto the site in a few minutes. Okay, I'm now up on the actual proposed lease area, which mostly is virtually flat. Those boulders there, which have been cracked by water action or tree root action or whatever, and they're just sitting there, are off the proposed lease area. I'm standing on what you'd call a sheet of rock, which takes up about the northern third of the proposed lease, but somewhere in this area just here, wait till I just move around a bit, is where the northwest peg would be, but it's solid rock, so obviously the surveyor didn't put it in. As we walk down around here, the lease is mostly to the right of where we are, and where we go around to my water bottle and my pad and my pack, because I hiked up the hill. Just in behind there you should see a peg. That's the northeast corner of the lease. So where I'm standing and panning here, these boulders here, which have got a bit of cracking, and you can see here where they appear to, the tree roots get in them in the cracks in the boulders, and through mechanical action force the boulders apart. In colder climates this normally happens with frost action, lets the water in, but obviously it doesn't get that cold up here. So this is just some mainly from tree root action, and it's a granite outcrop, which we'll talk about in the report. So from this side here, we've got this whole northern boundary is bedrock, and the lease is about 2.5–3 metres in from that breaker slope. So there's no real issues here with slope stability, but then again I'll talk about that in the report. Right, I'll push my way through over here to the southwest peg. So I haven't got the map in my hand, but I think it's in, is it the southeast? I'll organise that anyway. Here's the guy wire. There's another tower, which unfortunately the sun's behind. It's going to flare, I think, but you've got a light tower there, a C-Quib tower. This is just a guy which runs across the lease in this corner, and which is probably the southeast. There's the peg. Now in this area here, you saw from down on the road what the nature of the soils are like, but there's a bit of grass growing through here. There's no known services, and we'll only get room to do one traverse through here with the resistivity, which I'll do in a minute. Then we go down here, which will be the southwest corner. Again, I couldn't locate a peg here. This is because the rock's here. So what we've basically got is the whole leaf appears to be on 100% granite bedrock, and it appears sound because once you get, as we saw on the other side, once you get about a metre away from the edges, it becomes sound rock. So we're at least a metre away all the way around. So the lease itself is on sound rock. But what we've got in here where the grass is growing, there would have been some sand, which is the weathering product of the granite. It's accumulated here, and maybe there was a low point within the granite, and it's allowed the grass to grow. But just as we've got rock here, I don't expect it to be any more than 300 or 500 millimetres down through this grass to the solid bedrock, because we actually saw it in the cuttings a little bit earlier on. But that's about all we can say about this proposed lease here at Picnic Bay. Further to my comments about this grass and this shallow soil layer, I've just done the resistivity just straight through here at an angle, and I just used the pegs as a probe. About 80% of the pegs I put in only went in between 50 and 150 mil when driven with a hammer, because I was using a bit of a probe because we can't get equipment up here today. So that was solid bedrock, and that just emphasises it may not be, overall, it may not be 500 mil down as I estimated previously. There may be some local areas which are deeper than, say, 150 mil, maybe down to 500 of this sand, but most of it will be shallower than 200, so it's only going to need a light scrape to expose bedrock. The proposed lease is just in that area down there, and immediately up here we've got the Telstra Tower. This is on a block of concrete. Right, I'll try and get the sun away from it. Get back. This is on a block of concrete which appears to be about a metre square by half a metre thick. We don't know how it's anchored into the rock or whatever, but it's just sitting on the rock on this exposed, some people would call it a granite boulder, but I'd just call it a bedrock outcrop. And this tower, as we pan up, it's pretty hard to get close to it, has got 3 steel stays which come out from there about, it's probably 3 metres above ground level to the stays, and they come out about 3 metres here. And again, I'll try and get a shot there, just on a concrete pad, and that looks like a big bolt, a 25 mil bolt, which would have been gone straight down into the rock. And the 3 guys, or the 3 stays, are all the same. Here's the other one up here on it. In there's an eye bolt that was holding. That was probably an old stay for that power pole there, which they've since moved. And maybe we can see it better here from this angle with the sun behind me. There's 1 stay, there's 2, and there's a 3rd. Now you get an overall look down. There's a view back there to the mainland through there. There's a water tower, and you can see where the rock level is about 1500 below the top of the water tank when you look here. But that's about all there is from here.